What is up, guys? Evan here, bringing you another Master Tier Dokka file. This time, this is for post Code of the Duelist. And as a result of that, we are currently in Master Rule 4, which includes Link Summoning. Without further ado, let's get straight into the deck profile. I do not have a side deck right now, but hopefully you can fill in the blanks. And as always, a picture of the deck will be in the description below. So starting off the monster lineup, we get the 3 Shadow Mist. This build in particular is meant to abuse Shadow Mist more than my previous builds has. That means sending him to grave faster in a lot of situations in this current deck, then bring him back out with Call the Haunted, since that card is back in the deck. So 3 Shadow Mist, since it's better than Stratos in my opinion, and it just gets you to your power plays. Next, we got double Honest Neos. As I said before, this build is more about abusing Shadow Mist, and adding Honest Neos is one of the ways you abuse Shadow Mist. Dump Shadow Mist, add Honest Neos to hand. This build is also more about protecting the Dark Law, since you can't really back Dark Law up with more Exceed, so you have to back it up with more things from the main deck. So double Honest Neos helps out with that. This card that make any hero monster you control gain 25 attack for the turn. For the next 2 monsters, we got 1 Mission Hero Vion, and 1 Elemental Hero Blazeman. These things pretty much do the same thing in the deck. For Vion, when he is summoned, either normal or special, you send 1 hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then once per turn, you could banish 1 hero monster from your graveyard to add Polymerization deck to your hand. So it dumps Shadow Mist and adds Poly. For Blazeman, he pretty much does the same thing. When he's summoned, you add Polymerization from your deck to your hand. Then once per turn, you could send 1 hero monster from your deck to your graveyard, and this card's attribute and attack and defense become the attribute and attack and defense of the monster that you just sent. So if you dump Shadow Mist, he becomes a dark monster with 1,000 attack and 1,500 defense. But the turn you use that effect of Blazeman, you can only special summon fusion monsters for the rest of the turn. And also, you can only use 1 of Blazeman's effects once per turn, so you can't add the poly and dump the monster in the same turn, unfortunately. Because of that, Vision Hero Vion is overall way better than Blazeman, but Blazeman is still in the deck because he's an elemental hero, so he's more searchable to things like E-Call and A Hero Lives. For the last hero monster I play is 1 Bubble Man. No longer doing 3, because 3's not really needed at the moment, in my opinion. The way the deck is right now is more protect the castle for Dark Law, and you can't really spam Exceed as much as you could, because you always want to have a Dark Law or another fusion on field. So because of that, Bubble Man got brought down to 1. It's still very searchable, and he's still a really good power play for the deck when you don't have the Dark Law on field. But overall, you don't really need him too much anymore. Now with the inclusion of other hero monsters like Vion, Blazeman, the 2 Honest Neos. Continuing on with the monsters, Summon Monk bumped up to 2 because you want to special summon Vion immediately, or Shadow Mist if you need to see the Dark Law right then. Overall, I think Summon Monk is way better than things like Tinglefish and Goblinberg right now, just because you want to going through the deck is kind of pretty important, and yeah, this card does lose to Ash Blossom, but what card doesn't in this deck? To round off the monsters, we got Maxi. Maxi kind of need it. And for the last 2 monsters, we got Double Effect Veiler. I chose Effect Veiler over other hand traps for this deck, because after Code the Duelist, things like spellbooks with spellbook of knowledge and invoked are going to be a lot more relevant. Effective Veiler just kind of says no to Alistair, it says no to Blue Boy, which if you don't know is Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. It's the searcher for any spellbook card. And this is also pretty good against Invoked, and it could be decent to say no to a Broadbull or Chakanine. Chakanine is really important in the Zoo deck right now, since it's how they link pretty much. So I feel Veiler is a pretty good option for the new format. And it's also late in this deck, so that's also a little teeny bit important for what you see later on. So that's it for the muscle lineup. For the spells, You got 3 hero lists, because you kind of need to see Dark Law turn 1. 3 E-Call. If only these 2 cards, the E-Calls and the hero list, could search out Vision Hero Vion, that'd be way better. But that's why we have Blaze Man. Not as good, but a lot more searchable. Then we got Rhoda, since you need to see your warrior, since every monster in the main deck is warrior, except for the hand traps and the other things. The hand traps and the summon monks. This thing can't search out Honest Neos, unfortunately, but E-Call can. Next up, we got Triple Mass Change, because you need to see Dark Law. We see 1 Polymerization. Is searchable in this deck through both Vision Hero Vion and E-Hero Blazeman. And Poly is just another power play you could do in case if you can't summon Dark Law. To go along with Polymerization, we also play 1 Miracle Fusion. This is why Veiler's a little bit important, because I am playing Elemental Hero the Shining in the Yester deck as well, to go along with the other Hero Fusions. The reason why, and I'll get into Shining later on, but Miracle Fusion is just another one of those power plays you could do in case if you don't have an extra monster on the field. Next up, we got 2 Twin Twister. I usually don't like Twin Twisters in Master Heroes too much, but in this particular build, we aren't abusing Bubble Man as much as we could, so as a result, you will have a hand more times than not. So because of that, you will almost always have discard fodder for Twin Twisters. With it, you can discard something like Shadow Mist to go plus. You can discard like a dead Poly or a dead Miracle Fusion that you don't need. You can discard a dead Hand Trap. And yeah, just overall, it's pretty good in the deck right now in this particular build. Then we got 1 Regeki, since Regeki should always be a main deck staple in Mass Heroes, because Regeki in Dark Law is pretty busted. Just board wipe your opponent's field and banish everything. Next up, we got 2 Forbidden Chalices. This forces a little more monster negation. Helps protect Dark Law by either boosting you up or negating like a Dryden or something like that. I got 1 Book of Moon. Once again, protect the Dark Law, put things face down. You cannot Book of Moon a Link monster, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But you can Book of Moon monsters your opponent would be using to Link Summon with, since you can't Link Summon with face down monsters. Then for the last 2 spells, this got 2 Pot Desires. Just talk about the consistency in the deck. You search a lot in the deck, so you usually search out your Poly, your Blaze Mans, your Vions, your Bubble Mans, and Honest Neos before you activate this card. I usually, if I open Pot Desires, I typically wait until I search out Bubble Man to use it. Bubble Man isn't really too needed right now in the deck, but it's still a really important power play later on in the game. So I always want to search it early, search Bubble Man early, then use the dice afterwards for the traps. We got 2 Call of the Haunted. This card can easily be substituted for this card from Code the Duelist back to the front. This thing just says target 1 monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense. The reason why I'm playing Call of the Haunted over back to the front right now is because Call of the Haunted summons the monster to attack. So you can just Call the Haunted for a Shadow Mist, activates effects, search out Mass Change, attack for 1,000, the Mass Change to attack for another 24 or 28. So it just helps get the extra damage in there. And also, if you bring something back like Honest Neos, it's a big attack. So, there's always that. The reason why I'm playing these cards in the deck right now is because I haven't played Call of the Haunted in about a year in Heroes. But the reasoning for it right now is because this deck is meant to abuse Shadow Mist as much as possible. You're always setting it to grave and special summoning it. This helps you special summon it when it's sent to grave. So it has really good synergy with things like Vision Hero Vion and Blaze Man. Even Twin Twister if you discard the Shadow Mist. Continuing on with the traps, we got double Mirror Force. I feel like regular Mirror Force is the best one right now, especially in Masked Heroes. Just like with Geki, you activate it, bull ripe your opponent, and banish everything. And also just helps protect Dark Law even more than this deck already does. Overall, I think it's a really good card in Heroes right now. Next up, we got 2 Solemn Strike, protect the Dark Law pretty much. We got Warning, protect the Dark Law. And for the last trap of the deck, I'm playing 1 copy of Interdimensional Matter Transporter. In case if you don't know what this pretty obscure trap does, says target one face-up monster you control, banish that target until the end phase. So the reason behind this card is that you activate it to target your Dark Law. You banish Dark Law for the turn, then during end phase when it comes back, you can put it in a main monster zone. So that way you can free up your extra deck monster zone to summon an Exceed or another fusion next turn. It can also help save Dark Law from something like a Trident Pop if they do it during their own turn. It's an interesting tech. I'm not too sure with how good this card is in reality. It seems pretty good in theory, just for some resource management with freeing up your extra deck monster zone. There is a spell coming out in Circuit Breaker. I don't know what it's called, but it's a World Chalice card. It pretty much does the same thing as banishes a monster until the end phase, and it also lowers the opponent's monster's attack by the attack of the monster you banish, I think. I think the card's called Battle for World Legacy. Something like that. It's a quick play spell. It comes out in Circuit Breaker. But until that card comes out, this card's in. So that's it for the main deck. That's a total of 41 cards for the extra deck. We got the 2 copies of Mastiara Darklaw. It's pretty much the main boss monster of the deck. You summon it and win, kinda. Darklaw is really frail at a low 2400 attack, and it doesn't stop things like Dread from popping it, Masterpiece from being summoned and attacking over it. But Darklaw is overall a fantastic card, and you want to protect it as much as you can in this deck, since most of the time it's your main win condition. Then we got 1 Mass Hero Anki. There have been so many times where I've wanted to cut Anki, but as soon as I cut it, I've wanted to summon it. Anki is good because he's a bigger 2800 attack, so it goes in for more damage. It can attack your opponent directly for half his attack, so 1400. So it's like a big cowboy. And if it runs over an opponent's monster and sends it to grave, you can search out Mass Change, which you could then use on Anki to summon out a Darklaw to swing for more damage. Overall, Anki is a pretty good card. There's nothing that special, but I feel like you should always play the 1 copy in the deck. Even if you think you might not need it, you will always need it at some point. Then we got 1 copy Master Acid. I'm still playing the 1 Bubble Man, so I'm still playing the Acid. This one is summons Feather Dust to your opponent, then their monsters lose 300 attack. For the polymerization targets, we're playing 1 Vision Hero Adoration. In case if you don't know what this guy does, he takes 2 hero monsters, so you can summon him when you poly with Vision Hero Vion. And once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and 1 other hero monster you control. Your opponent's monster loses attack and defense equal to the attack of your targeted monster until the end of the turn. The only downside about that is that he can't target himself for his own effect, so you can't just make your opponent's monster lose 2800 attack. If he did that, that would be pretty good, but most times when you summon him, he's just a 2800 Dark Vanilla. Next up, we got Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. You all should know what this card does. He's 500 attack for every other water monster in the field, and 1 at least a fieldless Surogeki. He takes 1 hero monster and 1 water to make, so you can also make him a Vision Hero Vion for the hero monster, and then obviously Bubble Man for the water. This card also has pretty good synergy with this thing, because you banish it, then Surogeki your opponent's field, and then Zero comes back during the end phase. Zero is also probably my favorite card in the game. It's amazing artwork, amazing effects. It's just a really cool card. For the last fusion, we are playing the 1 copy of Elemental Hero The Shining. It takes 1 Elemental Hero monster and 1 Light monster to make. You should also know what this thing does if you've been watching this channel for a while, since this used to be the main boss monster of the hero deck before the structure deck. In case you don't know what it does, it gains 300 attack for each of your face-up banished Elemental Hero monsters, and when this card is destroyed from the field, you can add back up to 2 of your banished Elemental Hero monsters from your banished back to your hand. This thing can unfortunately miss timing, so that's a little bit bad, but missing timing doesn't really come up as much as it used to. Since people used to prepare for it a little bit with things like Raiko and Soul Taker, but not anymore. It's a little bit more difficult to maintain his timing nowadays. But the reason for the Shining is that you summon him, you Miracle Fusion, banishing your at least one copy of Honest Neos, so that way when the Shining gets destroyed and hits grave, you add the Honest Neos back. And also one of the reasons for Effect Veiler over other hand traps like Ash Blossom is because Veiler is the light that you can use to summon Elemental Heal the Shining if you have to with. But most of the time you use it with one Honest Neos and like a Blazeman or a Shadow Mist or something. And also it's kind of good synergy with Vion and Blazeman. Well, specifically Vion, since you dump the Shadow Mist, banish Shadow Mist to add the Poly. So that's one banishing already for the Shining. This thing typically comes out 3200 attack, but it coming out at 3500 attack isn't too tough either. Just have 3 banished hero monsters. But if you use it with just Honest Neos and Effect Veiler and none other things no other heroes are banished, it comes out at only a 29. It's 50 off a Masterpiece, but like, it's still a really good beat stick at that point. For the rest of the extra deck, I got the 1 Castel to spin stuff back. You got the Utopia package to attack over stuff. Tornado Dragon to serve as MST. You got 1 copy of Diamond Direwolf. This is just so you can make something in your extra deck monster zone, pop something, and get rid of this. It also has really good synergy and Miracle Fusion. Since you pop stuff, get rid of this, Miracle Fusion immediately afterwards. We got 1 copy of Daigusto Emerald. This card's back in the deck now. And the reason is because the monster lineup is a little bit weird. A little bit more... You're gonna run out of resources more in this deck than previous versions. Especially with the 1 Bubble Man. So this thing mainly put the Bubble Man back and put things like... Maybe like Absolute Zero back in case if you want to poly Miracle Fusion into it. Next up, we got the 1 Abyss Dweller, because of True Draco. If you can't get Darkle out, you make Dweller instead. And then 1 copy of Carnagorgon, because it's still really good against Zoo, and it could be decent against True Draco, but then they just run over the Masterpiece, so it's in there because of Zodiac. But that's it for the deck profile. Sorry it's a little bit of a long video, nearing 18 minutes now, dang. But anyway, that's it for the deck. Please leave any constructive criticism you have in the comment section below. Please drop a like if you like this deck. And please subscribe if you want to see more. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys next time.